left foot. His left foot is just living its own life. JP Bouvet is a monster of versatility. Like, this guy has played in pretty much every style, every genre, like every type of band you can think of. His play style is really, really cool, and it really inspires me. I always feel very inspired when I watch one of his videos. So this is going to be fun. This is a solo of his that he produced together with Minor Symbols. Yeah, we're going to dig into it. If there's something I can break down along the way, I will attempt to do so. Hopefully we can learn some stuff as we go. So let's have a look at JP Bouvet with his solo called The Persistence of Time. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so right off the bat, this is a very, very cool approach that he's taking here. I don't know if you noticed. Let's back it up. He's keeping time with his left foot, obviously, and then he's doing other stuff with his hands. So what's going on here is he's keeping, eighth note time with his left foot. So if this is our pulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then his left foot is playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, twice as fast, right? But his hands are not playing that same subdivision. See, there's our pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But his hands are playing 8th-note triplets. So if our pulse is this, 8th notes gives us 2 strokes per downbeat. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. But 8th note triplets is 3 strokes in that same period of time. So instead of 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's a little bit faster. And playing 8th notes on the hi-hat with your left foot while playing 8th note triplets with your hand is not an easy task. That's really, really hard to do. So let's see what he's doing. I love that. That's really, really cool. Cool approach to a solo. Oh, okay. So he switches a little bit between the subdivisions. It's mainly the 8th note triplets on the hands and the eighth notes, straight 8th notes on the hi-hat with his foot. But there for that little fill there, or the snare and floor tom thing he did, he actually played 8th notes, straight 8th notes with his hands as well. So same subdivision between the hands and the left foot for just a brief moment there, and then immediately back to the 8th note triplets again. That's really, really cool. Right there. Man, this is awesome. Okay, new theme. Okay. Okay, so there's a lot of subdivision switching going on here. This new theme that he introduced now, he went over to I guess you could call it a 12/8 time signature, but you can still think of it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But now the entire feel of this theme is triplet based. So he changed what he's doing with his left foot from going straight 8th notes into now playing the third 8th note in each beat. So let's listen to that again. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay, so let me illustrate this. Before, he was doing 8th notes, right, with his left foot. So, that's the kick, sorry. Right, we have 8 notes in a bar, all of them being played with the left foot. So this is what his left foot was doing before. A little bit faster. But then, with this new theme, that's what he was doing before. With this new theme, he ups the subdivision here to 8th note triplets. So we're doing like this, and then we have to fill out the bar. And this is why I said you can think of this as 12/8 time signature, because you have 12 8th notes now. But I prefer to write it mostly like this, with a 4/4 time and in triplets instead. Semantics, it doesn't really matter here. So what he's doing here now with this new theme is, instead of playing all of these notes, 1 2 3 1 2 3, instead of doing that, he skips these first two and only plays the third. So we make pauses for all of these, and we can put a kick on the downbeat just so you can hear the pulse a bit better. This is basically, he's playing this now with his left foot, so the kick here is just for reference. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So the left foot is just on that third 8-note triplet. That's what he's doing here. So let's back that up again and listen to the new theme that he introduces. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. But here, for a brief moment, he ups the subdivision again to 16th notes. So we go up a subdivision and we have 16th notes, and now he plays, instead of playing that 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, we now have 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, and then he plays the third note out of those. So we have 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. So you basically get like 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, that type of feel, instead of 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. It's barely noticeable because there's a very small difference between that, but there is a difference. So for that same period of time, he ups the subdivision with his hands as well. So instead of playing 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 with his hands, he's now doing 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, right? And then he again pulls it back. So the tempo throughout all of this is consistent. The time itself, if you were to put a metronome over this, it would still just go, 1 2 3 4. That doesn't change. What he does in between each of those notes, each of those downbeats, that's what changes, and that's what subdivisions are. That's literally only what subdivisions are, is how you subdivide the time in between the beat. It doesn't actually change the tempo, it just changes how fast you play relative to the tempo. I'm gonna stop talking. Let's back it up a little bit and continue and see what he's doing. But basically, there's a lot of subdivision switches and a lot of left foot timekeeping here. I think that's probably, with the name, the persistence of time, that's probably the general theme here. That halftime feel with the snare on 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. That's nice. A lot of permutation, displacement. 16th notes again. Okay, that's a tiny little detail that's actually pretty funny, because I recently started doing that as well. I don't know if you guys ever think about this kind of stuff, but in your own playing, there's usually, if you compare your own drumming to another drummer, you will often find that individual drummers have these little kind of quirks, like these little things that they like to do in their playing that maybe you never do. For example, that thing right there where he hit the floor tom and a crash at the same time. That's just a very, very simple thing to do, right? You take one hand on the floor tom and one hand on the crash, and you do bah, like that. But I never do that in my playing. It's just one of those things that for some reason is not part of my vocabulary. But I've recently started to introduce it into my vocabulary. And just such a simple, small little thing like that opens up a lot of new ideas. So if that's something you'd never do, like hitting a crash with a floor tom, usually we hit the crash with a bass drum, right? But doing both of your hands like that, if you never do that, try it. You will probably find that it opens up a couple of new ideas for you. So that's what he did there, just a small little note. Right there. Now we're back to 16th notes. And the hi-hat is playing the 8-note upbeats. Oh, this is nice. Ooh! His flow is so good. All this improv over that consistent hi-hat time. And the drums sound great, and the cymbals. Man, this is nice. Oh yeah, here we go. And again, the power of dynamics. He has an explosive kind of ending to that section, and then immediately pulls it back. We had a similar thing with the Benny Greb solo that I had a look at the other week. That kind of dynamic push and pull is crucial to a good solo. Like, you have to have a bit of that. You know, you grow in dynamic and then you pull it back, and it's an explosion and then it's soft. Like, that kind of stuff is very, very nice. Still keeping the hi-hat on the upbeat. Now we're back to that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Oh, that's nice. Man. Dude, that's so good. He introduced some, again, metric modulation is the topic that we talked a bit briefly about in a previous video. He introduced sort of metric modulation here where he makes you feel the time differently. And then he went into this new segment where before his left foot, this is going to get a little bit complicated, but I'll keep it brief. Before, his left foot was doing the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? Like I was talking about. So that's an interval of three notes. He plays so pause, pause, 3, pause, pause, 3. He only accents that third out of those triplets, like I showed you before. But then on top of that, before he was doing triplets with his hands, right? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now he keeps that hi-hat pulse going. He doesn't change that at all. It's still the same interval of 3 notes. But now he starts phrasing everything else as groupings of 4. So if the left foot is doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, only accenting the 3, his hands are now playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 over that, which basically makes it a polyrhythm where his left foot is doing its own thing. It's playing its own kind of race. It takes several bars for it to resolve back to 1, but his hands are now playing 16th notes in what feels like a slower tempo. So he goes into that, yeah. Now it feels like the pulse is this. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I'm not mistaken, that should be slower than before, right? Yeah. So here our tempo is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Keep that tempo in your head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll see what I mean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And here, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a slower tempo now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the power of metric modulation. He's still playing the same subdivision, basically, but he changes where he puts the downbeats, and that makes it feel like it's a slower tempo. But if you go only based on what he's doing on the hi-hat, it's still the same tempo, but he's changed how it's relative to everything else. It gets a bit complicated. I'll just leave you with that and just let you know that this shit is insane. To pull this off is very, very hard, and oh man, JP, you are a monster, my friend. Left foot. His left foot is just living its own life. Now we're keeping that slower tempo, and his left foot is keeping the downbeats now. He's keeping the pulse. And he's just flowing. It's like a wave back and forth. Oh, this is so good. I love this. His flow is insane. Dude, oh holy shit, what a solo. That is really really cool. I get the title of it now, The Persistence of Time. The hi-hat thing, that was like the theme of this solo, just keeping different times basically with your hi-hat while doing all this other crazy soloing on top of it. Man, JP Bouvet is so good. He's such a good drummer. If you haven't seen him before, you have to check him out. Like, he has a lot of this kind of stuff where it's really really cool. He's done some cool like vlogs too, where he had to step in and play some really really complicated material at some really really big gigs in like last minute. And he learned so much, like so many, I think like Animals as Leaders type of music, right? With like 2 days to learn it. That's not easy. And then go up on a stage and play for thousands of people. I know I watched some video like that a few years ago. So do your due diligence on JP Bouvet, because he has a gold mine of content worth viewing. So I hope you guys learned something from this. We didn't really break down any fill or anything like that, so there's not going to be any notation for you to download this time. But hopefully you learned something from this. Just the power of subdivisions. I always tell people this, like this, when I teach people drums, when I do my drum camps and stuff like that, subdivisions is like the main thing I want to make sure that people understand, because it is literally everything we play. As drummers and as musicians in general, everything we play is based on a subdivision at any given time. You can't get away from that. That's just the fabric of music. So if you don't understand subdivisions, if you don't know the different subdivisions available to you, and you don't know how to switch in between them while keeping time, you're severely hindering your own playing, because you don't have that grid to play on, right? It's like you're a train, but you don't have any train tracks. It's like it's hard to stay on time, and it's hard to do things properly if you don't understand subdivisions. So it's a very very important thing for you to understand. So if you don't know subdivisions, you don't know how those work, either you can hit me up, maybe I can teach you, or watch some videos online and figure it out and put in your practice, because you kind of have to know that stuff. That's what enables you to reach that next level and play this kind of stuff in the way that he does. I'll just leave it at that. Subdivisions, people. Don't forget your subdivisions. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to this channel. There's going to be a lot more like this. Hit that like button. I hate doing this thing where it's like on YouTube, you tell people to like your videos because it feeds into the algorithm. But I guess it's important. So please hit that like button, subscribe, ring the bell, whatever the hell you need to do. And I will see you in the next video. Take care.